Welcome into the party on Broad. I'm Freddie Burns with my co-host Chris Dives of the Painted Lines. It's Super Bowl week, baby. We are pumped. We have a huge show tonight. We're going to jump into opening night. You know, opening night I typically don't watch, but when the Eagles are in, we do. So we're going to get our favorite quotes or interviews from Super Bowl week. We are going to jump into the actual game this week. Last week, we kind of talked about storylines, that type of thing. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty, how the Eagles can win, and also how the Eagles could possibly lose. Also, NBA trade deadline. I woke up this morning, and Kevin Durant was a Phoenix Sun. Did the Sixers do anything? I don't know. We'll talk about that as well. Trivia, and then, of course, Eagles Super Bowl predictions. Dives, are you ready for the Super Bowl? It's Super Bowl week. Are you ready?
I am not ready. Physically, I'm ready. Mentally, I am just a nervous wreck, man. I can't believe we are just like 3 days away from such a monumental game for so many reasons. But let's talk about it.
I'm trying to get there. I'm there. I just ran out before the show, grabbed poster board and stuff. We made Honk for the Eagles. We're going to stand outside our street at the bus stop tomorrow morning when my daughter goes to school for a half hour and just have people honk for the Eagles. Someone's coming over to paint my lawn with the logo tomorrow as well, or Saturday morning. So I'm there, but I'm not there. I think I'm mentally ready to go, but I got so much crap to do, I don't know what to do. But I guess first, let's start with opening night. Let's jump into that. What was your favorite? There was a bunch of cool one-liners and interviews. What was your favorite?
This was my favorite.
I want them to be wearing
for
this man, your journey.
My man Jalen Hurts, right here.
Talk about this, man. Your journey here has been an incredible, inspirational journey. How much have you thought about that journey?
Man, I really feel like it's not the time to reflect. Obviously, it's been a lot, you know, but I didn't put all that work in for no reason. I feel like this team hasn't put all the work in. We put it in for no reason. So we come here to, you know, finish the job we set out to do.
I mean, is that not the quote of this entire season? Taking care of business, man. This season for Jalen Hurts, for this entire Eagles team, it's about taking care of business. And they have had that vibe from the jump. The vibe, we've said this 1,000 times on this podcast, on Eagles shows. The way this Eagles team carries about itself has been nothing short of outstanding. And that just speaks volumes of the coaching staff, their preparation. Jonathan Gannon, we saw it, how he managed his defense specifically against the Niners. Just so impressive top to bottom. That's my favorite thing. It's not just Jalen Hurts. It's the whole organization and how just prepared and ready they have been week to week.
I agree with you. That was I watched that live, and Irvin kept trying to get him to break, to loosen up and say something wrong, not wrong, but even off keel for Hurts. And it was awesome because he just was steadfast. I didn't come here to lose, basically, and we're here for a reason. We're not here to party and celebrate. The job's not done. And, you know, I couldn't agree with I couldn't be more happier to have a quarterback right now in that position. Foles was like that too, but he was in the moment, living in the moment. When McNabb was here, a lot of times McNabb would say some weird joking stuff, and he didn't win one, and it would kind of annoy me. I'm like, give me the leader, give me that, give me Jalen Hurts. It's amazing how much of a leader this guy is.
Just a straight up leader, man. Straight up leader. It's impressive.
For mine, I'm going to go a little different because Nick Sirianni, I love him. From the beginning, he's pandered to the fans with the shirts, the different teams, and I love every second of it. Like, people in the beginning were kind of hating, like, stop wearing the shirts. I embrace it. I love it. We got a coach here that loves being here and loves everything about the city.
Mm-hmm.
And then Irvin presses him on how tough it is to play here.
All right, here it comes.
I feel like I live and coach in the greatest sports town in America. It means so much to everybody there. That's what you want, right? When you're a little kid playing in a peewee football game, you're like, where's everybody? I want them to see us. I want them to see everything that we have to offer them, right? That's what you want. You know, you want your fans to love it. You want your fans to be there. You want them to be wearing green on Friday. You want them to be wearing green on Saturday. You want them to be throwing snowballs at Santa Claus. You want that.
And that was the kicker for me to select this. So many times we run from this snowball thing. And as a kid growing up, I was like, dude, who cares? I love Santa Claus, obviously, but I'm like, who cares? Like, they stunk. Like, not a time to run Santa Claus on the field. They were a horrible team, wouldn't spend no money, and this owner is going to pull a random fan from the crowd to be Santa Claus? And for Nick Sirianni to just throw it back. Like, I want them throwing snowballs at Santa Claus. I loved it. I love Nick. Win or lose here, even if if it ends up like a fluke year and then he's out of here like Peterson. I love the way he is. He embraces this city. Nick Sirianni's the man.
Dude, build the statue. He's this close. He's this close, man. What he has done in just a couple years is nothing short of remarkable. And the way he acts, carries himself on that sideline, talking trash, trolling, I just absolutely adore it, man. The Eagles' offense is elite for many, many reasons, but he sets the tempo. He sets an example, and what we have seen from him running up and down the sidelines on several occasions, man, just oozes confidence. It oozes swagger, and that has just bled Eagles green, pun intended, to this offense that has been nearly unstoppable all season long.
And he pisses the other teams off. Like, Julian Love hates this.
Love it, man.
Well, he warrants these comments. So there were our two comments. Check out opening night. They're going to they replay it on the NFL Network. I think they're doing it again or have it on recording. Check it out. It's freaking awesome. All the interviews. Before we get into the matchups, we're going to quickly have to touch on this again because these 49ers will not stop. I can't. Robbie Gold now, like every day, there's another 49er crying about the loss, and they're totally throwing out the fact that they knocked both their quarterbacks out because they could not block our pass rush, and B, they are totally. Do they realize that they're the number one run D in football, and they got ran down their throat because they're great all-pro physical linebackers who I was scared of, mind you, could not figure out how to stop an RPO. How Fred Warner in the hole. Ooh, do I go left? Do I go right? Do I go left? Do I right? Up, too late. Going Miles Sanders gash. Too late. Boston Scott gash. Oh, now I think I figured it out. I'm going to go where the running back is. Oh, no. Jalen Hurts gone. Like, no credit for that. They are the worst. And I'm at the point, and I might be being a prisoner of the moment, I hate them more than the Dallas Cowboys. I will never root for that franchise ever again. It's disgusting.
Sore losers, zero accountability, all things I hate about Dallas Cowboys fans. They got tested, and they're just an embarrassment on all fronts, man. Like, that is just so embarrassing to continuously talk about this. Like, whether it was, well, there should be a third quarterback, or why don't you have someone other than your number 3 tight end block the best edge rusher in football at the time? Like, there's zero accountability, and that oozes from the coaching staff. So for the Niners organization to allow this and this for this to be acceptable is a joke. It's a flat out joke. And you know what? The 49ers come to Philadelphia next year at a home game for the Eagles. that might be the biggest game of the regular season. I can't wait to just smash the 49ers because I agree, Freddie. They're an embarrassment. I loved watching the Niners play. I love watching defense, as always. Not anymore, man. They're like the Penguins. They're like the Cowboys. They're like the Giants. They're dead to me, man. I can't wait to crush them.
I was unaware that they're coming to the Link next year. That makes it so much better. That's great because we can exhaust it out on them next year as the Super Bowl champions. Well, the Super Bowl Sunday. We're gonna have a pregame show at some time on Sunday, probably 11 a.m. But we're gonna give you a little taste of where me and Dives are at here, as far as some ways the Eagles can win and ways we think they could lose. Dives, where do you want to go first with this? You want to go ways to win or ways to lose?
Oh, there's so much to talk about, man. You pick. I'll throw it to you, man. Patrick's in the house saying, "What's going on?" Thanks for joining, Patrick.
Pat Bernard, Devro Sports, baby, Edge of Philly. What's up, Pat? Thanks for checking in.
Yes, sir. All right, let's go. Why the Eagles might lose, just to kind of like go in reverse. I think if there's any reason, I've got a few reasons, but number one, it's the interior Chiefs offensive line and them being able to cement a consistent game on the ground. We all know the Eagles pass rush, which we'll talk about, is absolutely elite, but you look at Patrick Mahomes, that ankle, that offense needs to be able to hand the ball off and keep the Eagles edge rushers honest. That's step one for this team. You look at the interior offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs, man, one of the top trios in the NFL. Those three combined have only allowed 3 sacks this season. Pacheco is really solid running back. They've got a couple guys there in addition, but if the Chiefs are able to kind of, get the Chiefs going in, large chunks of plays, drives with 10 to 15 plays, that's when the Eagles have struggled this year, going up against teams that were able to, have, 7 to 10 minutes of drives that, takes the rhythm and the flow out of the Eagles offense. That's the number one thing I think of.
The number one thing, I got a few too, but the two main ones, I guess I would say, is number one is Andy Reid, okay? And I think he could actually be a reason we win too. But as far as game planning goes, he loves the screen game. And what's the best way to stop a dominant pass rush? The screen game. And if you don't think Andy Reid is going to be chipping our ends and using the screen game against us, you're crazy. And now not only that, we have Patrick Mahomes to go again. So it's not like it's a lame duck quarterback back there. So you can't just focus on the screen either, because if you play passively on the defensive line and give Mahomes the time, you're going to get picked apart there as well. So number one for me is Andy Reid and the screen game. And then number two for me is our linebackers. Isaiah Pacheco, as you touched on, he's a physical runner. He wants to hit. And our linebackers at times this year have played patty cake at the offensive line, have not been downfield. There are other times they have been, though, as well. So it's a catch-22. But I feel like if the linebackers on our side of the Eagles, TJ Edwards, Kazir White, can establish not dominance, but hold their own, that you're not going to land on the other side. Remember that Redskins game on Monday Night Football where the Redskins didn't have a ton of rushing yards statistically, but they were falling forward. It was clear they were winning the toughness battle. I think that is going to be a big factor, because if the Chiefs can punch us in the mouth, that's going to give them some confidence, and they're two big issues for me as far as ways we could lose.
Love it, man. Fully agree. I have a couple more. Number two for me is Patrick Mahomes, and that ankle is 100%. We all know the Eagles and the records they broke with their pass rush, but man, you're not going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs if you don't consistently pressure Patrick Mahomes. He gets rid of the ball fast. He doesn't take a lot of sacks, just 29 in 19 games this year. He's the best quarterback in the NFL when not blitzed. And you look at Patrick Mahomes on dropbacks when he is pressured. He only takes a sack on 10.5% of the dropbacks. That's the lowest rate in the league. Per Next Gen Stats, he's generated more than twice as much pass EPA against the blitz as any other quarterback starter since 2018, man. Something's got to give there, man. So the Eagles love to bring a four-man pass rush. They get a lot of pressure, and they're going up against Patrick Mahomes, who thrives against pressure. So there's so many different strengths versus strengths. That's one of my favorites.
That's a good one. There's so many lines you can pull from. Enough of how they're going to lose, though. There's a couple more. And tune in Sunday morning. We'll be live, and we're going to get into more. But let's get into a few of how they can win the game and ways they could win. So as you were discussing, there's so many even matchups or close to even matchups. As I was diving through the different stats and stuff, this is one I think is key, and it's the red zone offense. The Eagles are a top 3, I believe. Regardless, they're top, and they're a great red zone offense. They produce touchdowns, where the Chiefs D gives up touchdowns in the red zones. They're terrible. I believe they're 28th scoring-wise, giving up points in the red zone. So a huge way for the Eagles that is to dominate here is when they get in the red zone is to score points. On the other side of that, on the defensive end, is to hold the Chiefs to field goals. Andy Reid's not going to go for it on 4th down. He doesn't really do that. He's not aggressive in that sense. He's old school, settle for the 3, take the 3. So if we can hold the Chiefs to field goals, that's a big benefit or way the Eagles can win as well.
Man, I couldn't agree anymore. We talked about that on Tuesday on Birds of the Round Table. Great one right there. And I'm going to just keep it simple, man. Football is simple. It's the Eagles' ground game. You look at Super Bowl history, the team that finishes the game with the most rushing yards has a 41-14 record. The team who runs the ball more in the Super Bowl has a 47-7 record. We just saw the Eagles rushing attack run the ball, 44 times against the number 2 rushing defense in the NFL, man. 4 touchdowns on the ground against the Niners. The Eagles have the best offensive line in the NFL. They are clicking on all cylinders. The Eagles offense ranks 2nd best in run block win rate. The Chiefs defense ranks 32nd in run stop win rate. Is that not an advantage or what?
32nd.
So good luck. Good luck, guys. And that really boils down to Jason Kelce versus Chris Jones. If the Eagles, and I expect the Eagles to neutralize Chris Jones, the heart, blood, and soul of this Kansas City Chiefs defense. Chris Jones is sensational. He's among the leaderboard in so many different stats on that interior defensive line for the Chiefs. I expect them to neutralize him. I expect them to run right at him. And that is my first reason why the Eagles will win.
That's a good one. Another reason for me that the Eagles are going to win this football game is simply Jalen Hurts. I just think and his play, it's going to be I feel like he continues to get called out by the media. And I wouldn't say Jalen Hurts if it wasn't for this peak. I thought he got to the Super Bowl through the injuries, and now everyone was just going to praise him. And this week, these same people, the 49ers players, Robbie Gould, saying, hey, as long as you make him play quarterback, you have a good chance of winning. I mean, he's freaking 16-1 as a starter. What the hell are they talking about? Then you got Phil Simms, or Chris Simms, his son, continuing to double down here. Like, oh, now he's going to say, I was wrong about Hurts, but he's not a top 10 quarterback. So I really think, like, as much as Hurts says he doesn't hear that, he hears that stuff. He uses that as fuel. And I really expect him to take advantage of this Chiefs defense. I think he has it up here mentally and physically to run. Even if his arm's not all there, I feel like he's going to figure it out throughout the course of the game. And furthermore, with him, adjustments. So he's going to make adjustments at the line, and the Eagles are a team of adjustments. Andy Reid is not a guy of adjustments. We've seen that here. Now, he's been a lot better with the Chiefs, but he's lost some big games, and he's used some timeouts early still. So as great as the Chiefs have been, an amazing regular season record. They still only have one Super Bowl and only reads first. And for how great the team was and getting there, maybe you could argue they have more. So I think what's going to happen is it's going to get down to the second half, and we're going to have to make adjustments. Well, who's good at adjustments? Jonathan Gannon is good at adjustments. Shane Steichen and Nick Sirianni are good at adjustments. So adjustments. Any more reasons the Eagles can win?
The biggest one. It knocked the Niners quarterback out of the game on the 6th freaking play against the Niners. Arguably the single biggest matchup to watch in this one is Hassan Reddick versus Andrew Wiley. That is everything. You look at Kansas City, man, their O-line is very solid. But if you're looking for a weak spot on that offensive line, you're looking at right tackle Andrew Wiley. He's got the lowest positional ranking by PFF by a good margin. He ranks 63rd out of 84 qualified tackles in the NFL this past season, and he's given up a team-high 9 sacks this year and 53 quarterback pressures. I don't think the Chiefs are going to try and block or chip Hassan Reddick with their third-string tight end, but that is just a huge matchup to watch, and that could easily dictate, whether the Eagles get a turnover, or that could be the difference in this one, like a strip sack or something like that.
Not enough, because I could talk Eagles Chiefs all day long, but we do have another team that unfortunately we have to bring up here, and it was kind of meh for me. It was very meh, actually. Today was the trade deadline, and the Sixers. Well, first off, I with all due respect, Dives, I just want to say, on behalf of Edge of Philly Sports, and sorry for your loss. Okay, I know it's going to be very tough. Rumors have always been swirling that you have, something going on with Matisse Thybulle, and he now is going to be 3 hours behind you, unfortunately, because the 76ers, who just decided to play Matisse Thybulle last night. So, hey, let's make a trade and almost get him injured before we make the trade. If Doc finally plays him last night,
I hate it.
Sixers in a 3-team deal trade Matisse Thybulle to the Portland Trail Blazers and acquire Jalen McDaniels from the Charlotte Hornets. They also get 2 second-round picks in the deal. Dives, sorry for your loss. Are you okay? I'm surprised you're actually on the show.
Can I have like a moment? I need a moment because it kills me. I think this all starts with Daryl Morey and his mismanagement of Doc Rivers, man. Like, as much as I want to snowpile on Doc Rivers, man, like his complete misuse of Thybulle's strengths. Like, Doc has not utilized Thybulle correctly in so many different respects. Thybulle is great, cutting to the basket, off-ball movement. The Sixers have been dead last in those categories since Brett Brown left. That's a fact. And just there's that. But going back to Daryl Morey, man, like this is a guy who came into the city labeled as some by the best general manager in the NBA. And the Sixers haven't gone further since they were led by Brian Colangelo, which is an absolute joke. I'm just kind of like, I got that feeling of underwhelmed. I got that feeling of disappointed, man. The Tucker signing, the House signing, the Trez signing, like basically fixed nothing compared to last year. This team is still slow. They're still small. They're still unathletic. Their best option on offense is a guy who relies on long twos. We saw it last night against the Celtics when the going gets tough during check time. Like, Joel Embiid takes way too many shots from the perimeter because he's got tired legs. The Sixers game plan has always been awful. And now you just got rid of your best perimeter defender when perimeter defense is one of your biggest weaknesses. So I don't like it. I don't like this move at all. And the fact that we're all sitting here still complaining about the fact that this team tanks when Embiid is on the side or on the bench says a lot. It says a lot. And I do think there was a lot more out of Matisse Thybulle that we could have gotten. I wish him nothing but the best. I wish nothing but the best for Jalen McDaniels. But this was mismanagement, not just from Daryl Morey and Doc Rivers, but the whole organization. It is a bad day.
Do you need a tissue?
I do.
I mean, come on. Thibault has regressed so much.
He's not.
So much.
He has not at all. Like he's not you.
What? Hey, you talked. You talked. Now let me give me 2 seconds here. What did you want last night? What did you want last night on the post-game show with Tiago and Sean Barnard? What did you want? You wanted a wing defender that could defend the 3-point shooting that the Boston Celtics were throwing down our face. And what did you get, sir? You got a top 10 3-point wing defender that can play the 4 as well. Top 10 at stopping the 3. He's ranked top 3 or top at 10 exactly. So, though I would have liked to have gotten Thibault, traded him when we had more value, because you basically are getting him at his lowest value. And though I agree with you, Doc not playing him all freaking year, but at times he was unplayable. The shot was not falling at all, and he wasn't even driving to the basket to score points. So I understand why he didn't play him at times, but you could have got him 10 minutes. You could have used him in different areas of the game to use him defensively to get wins. And I mean, what's worse? But there are times when he got on the floor, he would make some defensive plays, get in lanes, but get taken off the dribble and get into foul trouble. I wish him the best as well. I love his smile. He's always laughing and stuff like that. But let's see how it works out. But what makes me mad about this trade is the background of this, the luxury tax. How this is set up to get the Sixers under the luxury tax. I used to be a season ticket holder. I could no longer afford it. I heard they're raising the season tickets 27%. Yet we need to get under the luxury tax. Are we playing that game now? So are we setting ourselves up for next year? You know, I think they'll get a guy on the buyout market. I think Nerlens Noel will be here on the buyout market. So you're going to have those two. But it was an underwhelming day. But we really didn't have anything to move. What assets did we have besides Tyrese Maxey?
Never understood, why Matisse doesn't get more minutes. Never understood why Paul Reed doesn't get more minutes that's Doc. I completely concede that like Doc is not going to change. But if there was one move that would have actually helped this franchise move forward, it's not a Matisse Thybulle trade. It's like my man Tiago said last night. It is a Doc Rivers trade because unfortunately this team is what it is.
There's not. You're right, and we're not moving on to him. I don't know. Maybe Morey will wake up in the offseason, but it's not going to happen mid-season. So we can scream till we're blue in the face. It's just going to keep happening. One other comment, just real quickly. Did you catch Blake Griffin's comment last night?
No, I did not. What did he say?
Oh my God, Tibbs, you didn't catch this. So so they interviewed Blake Griffin after the game, and he basically, and I may be paraphrasing a little bit here, but they're like, do you feel disrespected that they just left you open to shoot threes? And he's like, well, no, I wouldn't say it was disrespect. That was obviously their game plan. Doc makes the game plan, and it hurt them. So they didn't make adjustments, which is kind of a theme they got going.
Never makes adjustments. Ever.
But he basically took a shot at Doc. So he goes, he didn't say he said they don't make adjustments, which is an ongoing thing there. So respectfully, or no, then he finished it with no disrespect. Like basically disrespected Doc Rivers, but then said no disrespect. He nailed it.
Just look at the last night's game. Like they targeted the Sixers perimeter defenders all game long. It took Doc Rivers until the fourth quarter to actually put Thybulle in, and the Sixers go on a run and make it basically a 2-bucket game late in the game until it was decided. And the Celtics hit some shots. But yeah, I couldn't agree more about Doc Rivers, man. He never makes adjustments. He literally just sits and watches the game, throws his hands up, and Tiago and I make fun of it all the time. Like, there's no way he's actually coaching this team. This is the first year we've actually seen real play calling. There's a lot more pick and roll and stuff. Not enough. But I'm always fearful that Doc, come playoff time, is just gonna roll the ball in the court and say, "Here, guys, ISO heavy basketball," and we're gonna see the same result as we have in the past.
I know. I agree with the game plan to let Griffin shoot, but once he starts making them, you freaking guard him. He's clearly anyone can catch fire. If they catch fire, you put the fire out. But enough of those depressing Sixers. We're gonna do a little Super Bowl trivia, and then we'll close this up with some Eagles predictions for anyone that isn't going to be able to catch us on Sunday morning. So, Eagles trivia dives. This is a good one. The Eagles average over 140 yards rushing per game.
Okay.
Who is the last team to win the Super Bowl to average over 140 yards per game?
Rushing? Strictly rushing?
Rushing, yeah, strictly rushing.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to go to the 2017 Eagles.
No.
Okay.
No, but that's a good guess because we did start to mix in the run there. I'll give you one more guess. I'll say it's within from 1990 on. That's your hint. Whatever that is.
The
33
Ravens?
years. No, the answer would be the 1998 Denver Broncos.
Jesus.
Terrell Davis.
Come on, man. I should have known that.
And then furthermore, a reason why you do not draft a running back in the first round ever. Ever. I mean, we do it with a running quarterback. It's not even it doesn't even really count this 140 yards rushing. It's scrambling yards and called runs with the quarterback.
Terrific.
All right, prediction time. What do we got on Sunday? I'll go first this time. Sunday, Eagles, I expect a close game in the first half. Andy Reid is going to have them first 15 plays ready to go. We're going to be like, oh, no. And like I said a couple minutes ago, the Eagles will adjust in the second half. I expect an A.J. Brown game. I expect our receivers, which we'll get into Sunday, to beat up on those young corners.
Yeah.
Trent McDuffie. And I'm going to go Eagles in a close one, 31-24.
31-24, yeah.
I switched it, 31-27.
31-27? Okay. We're pretty close. It was my vibe on Tuesday night. I'm not wavering. I think there's going to be a high-scoring game. All signs point to the Eagles' offense being able to do a lot of damage against this Chiefs team. I think this is, like you said, a breakout game for A.J. Brown. I've got the Eagles winning 37-34, and it will be a defensive play. That's the difference in this one. And I'm looking straight at Hassan freaking Reddick, making the play in the second half. And that's the difference is the Eagles pass rush makes a huge play, whether that's, Hassan Reddick or Brandon Graham or Javon Hargrave. I don't know. I don't care. But I do think that's the difference. The pressure gets to Mahomes. The ball gets tipped, interception to Gardner Johnson or Avonte Maddox of all people would be awesome. That's my vibe. 37-34, great game. But at the end of the day, the Eagles in the trenches are a tier better or more better than the Chiefs. Offensive line, defensive line. That's going to be the difference.
I love it. That's going to be exciting. And I kind of feel like having a heart attack. You know what I mean? It's nice that way. We have had some easy blowouts, and I kind of just want to be like, you know what I would really love? And it would be insane. A fourth quarter, minute to go, Jalen Hurts quarterback comeback. God. That would just be, it would be gut-wrenching, but it would be so euphoric if they win. But that's it for tonight. Dives, where can everyone find you?
Right there, at Mr. Crockpot on Twitter, obsessing over the NFL draft as always. But man, good stuff.
Well, for Chris Dives, I am Freddie Burns. We will see you next. Oh no! Change of plans. We will now be Wednesdays. I mean, we might as well just like every month pick what day and time we're gonna do this because we just switch it up. But I think we got a good time for everyone because Rob will be able to be back on. He's an important part of this show, and I love the three of us last week. It was a great. We never did a show together. It was awesome. So 6:15 on Wednesdays now. Tune in next week 6:15, and then you'll catch me and Dives Sunday morning for Birds pregame show. For Chris Dives, I'm Freddie Burns. See you next week. Go Birds.